Hello. We gotta start off first with a routine audio check. So let me go to my YouTube and see if we're live. Okay, that's good already. Okay, it sounds pretty good. So welcome to BTB Shodcast episode 6. Today we're gonna be exploring talk to books. So in the Shodcast episodes I want to explore a new concept or an innovative new idea. So for today we're gonna look at the talk to books. It's an AI, experimental AI designed by Google to let you put texts of books together in regards to an input that you give. So for example, if you say, give me all the books that tells me the story about World War II in this kind of setting, then it will try to find you these passages, I think. I have not yet fully went through the site, but the first looks of it, it was pretty cool. So without further ado, don't know what I just did. This is some kind of weird. I need to have this one. So this. All right. Here we are. So talk to books. It's books.google.com/talktobooks, and here we can see that we use normal language, natural language to input. So you just make normal sentences and then you see what it finds. So let's start with something easy. Give me a summary from different perspectives of World War II. Let's see if it can find something like that. It's pretty fast already. So I don't know if there's a famous one here, but let's see what this looks like. Okay. It actually... does it give full books? Okay, it's pretty amazing. It's a full book, but it's not really what I'm looking for. So let's see, history of Western civilization. Maybe this is too... it's not gonna make a summary for me. So it only gives passages, only gives parts of a book. So let's see, World War II was horrific, but also a beautiful time period because of the quietness. I don't know what I'm typing, but I'm just curious what I'm wait a second. Am I not allowed to look at them? Is that more with friends in Germany? Okay, so I think, did we already reach our limit? Damn. Okay, this is not really something I expected. we can only watch that. Oh. Okay. Apparently we can watch more things. What about this one? Okay. In historiography, the period of Germany occupation by the vast tragedy and atrocity of the Nazis genocide. So not the full books. Apparently not the full books are readable, but we do get nice things of it. So for now I want to use this because I have a topic that is proposed by Hugo. We still have to find a date, but what is the right path or way of living? So I'm gonna be like asking these two books and see what answers that we can get out of it. So it's just helping me to prepare for another podcast. And I'm just curious what I can find. Conducive. What does that mean? Conducive. Before, like. Okay. Let's see this one. So this can be interesting. I can start finding passages that refer to what I'm looking for. So I don't know why this one is not highlighted. This was not what I was looking for. Can I get an highlight? Here, whatever path we prefer, whatever path is most conducive to our individual nature, can be found in Sanatana Dharma. This is how numerous spiritual paths such as Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, what's all these different kind of yoga styles? In Sanatana Dharma, there is no contradiction between spirituality and worldly life, living as a householder. Sanatana Dharma doesn't reject worldly life in the name of spirituality. Instead, it teaches that through spirituality, your life becomes richer and more meaningful. Okay. So this one we already had here. Once you've made a choice about how you want to live, the only thing left to do is to figure out what steps are necessary to get where you want to go. The portion of the book on setting goals will help you develop. It's kind of amazing that we can see so much books. I had a really hard time finding ebooks, but I guess this way we can find them. Let's see this. Avoidance behaviors, which encompass anything you do, avoid doing so as not to feel pain or particularly dangerous. Extensive research has shown that experiential avoidance, the act of avoiding a particular experience due to some feared outcome, doesn't reduce pain. It actually increases pain. Perhaps you have some experience of what avoidance does in other areas of your life. You may have been in a car accident that gave you a real scare, and afterward everything in your body and mind told you that driving a car is dangerous. You probably felt hesitant to get in. In essence, experiential avoidance is an inability to accept some thought or feeling that consequently causes you to avoid a particular circumstance or event. The funny thing about experiential avoidance is that often it becomes automatic and we end up forgetting why we started avoiding the experience in the first place. We even create logical reasons for our avoidance behavior. For example, someone who is afraid of elevators may tell you that she prefers the stairs for exercise. Okay. This is nice. I really like this tool. This can help me so much with preparing questions and actually getting some literature in me, because I'm too hesitant to read books. I don't know why. Maybe it's just an experiential avoidance. But yeah. All you need to do is make a choice and then start living it, and maybe the time for all the pieces to fall in. So, what kind of books are we actually getting? Radical love, self-love. I don't know if these are good books or famous ones. I think this one looks pretty okay. Self-help workbook. This gives me an idea. Maybe I can go through a book, chapter by chapter or something, on a podcast and then just talk about it, So instead of me doing these shortcasts, I would actually talk about it. But what do I have to say about these things? Well, it's a bit the same as today, I don't have a real plan. I just feel like these short podcasts are not supposed to take up so much time of my week deciding what to do, so I rather do something spontaneous. So we have AIs that I can explore, we have concepts that I can explore, and then we have books I can explore. So I think it's interesting because with books I can refer to people that already have thought about these things. And for example, if I say, what was the word that Hugo said here? Asceticism. Related to asceticism. What does this say? Here, the spiritual path, details the techniques and disciplines described by the scriptures and sages within the Adviatic tradition. What the hell is Adviatic? Adviatic is a Hindu sadhana, a path of spiritual discipline and experience in the oldest extant tradition of the orthodox Hindu school, Vedanta. So let's make this easier. ChatGPT, I need you. Let's get all the AIs together so I don't have to think for one moment in my life. Let's get it. Advaita Vedanta is a school of Hindu philosophy and one of the 6 classical schools of Indian philosophy. One of 6? Jesus. The word Advaita means non-dual, and the central teaching of this school is that the ultimate reality, Brahman, is non-dual and all-pervading, and that the individual self or Atman is identical to Brahman. I don't like non-dual because I'm a very dualistic thinker. According to the Advaita Vedanta, the world of multiplicity and duality that we experience is an illusion or Maya, and the true nature of reality can only be realized through self-knowledge or Atma-jnana. The path to this realization is through the practice of Jnana Yoga, which involves the study of scriptures, reflection, and meditation. Okay, the rest is not really that important. So, what was this? The spiritual path details the techniques and disciplines described by the scripture and sage. We are available to help us understand who we really are. The third section, the real, explains how it is that we are unable to see reality now, and why we are so mistaken in our present view of the world. The process by which we may realize the truth is looked at more closely, along with concepts such as cause and effect and free will. Okay. It was also explaining here. What do we want from life? Everyone wants something, usually many things, most of the time. Picking up this book now, even if it's not at the forefront of your mind, you will have some idea of what it is that might bring you satisfaction. It is interesting that when we use the word satisfaction, we often qualify it by the phrase short-term or long-term. It is as though we know that it is not impossible to obtain permanent satisfaction, only something which lasts a finite time before it is replaced by the more usual status quo. I can't get no satisfaction, was the cry of the 1960s Rolling Stones hit. Okay. Interesting. Maybe I should read books on all these Mondays. I'm just kidding. But kinda digging this. Didn't know it's free. Like I can see the whole book without having to do anything for it. The only thing I would like to, which of course it's blocked, but if it was able to be copied and then I could copy it in a speech, text to speech, that would be amazing. Can I? No. €14.50. Jesus, I ain't paying that for one book. The Book of One. Advaita. Whoa. Why is it written like that? Okay, so I guess asceticism. Let's just see what it does when I type one word. Don't like when it's not highlighted. There's so much weird things also written in the years. I don't know who wrote these things. Here. They are. Where is it? Here. They are characterized by direct relationships. They are characterized by the direct relationship between subject, individual, and object, indwelling spirit. while shamanism is characterized by the mediation between human community and spirit world, undertaken by a priesthood. The cults are concerned primarily with the natural world and with essential aspects of well-being. Okay, so it's not really an answer for asceticism. Abstinence, what does that mean? Onthouding and renunciation of worldly pleasures and possession. Sounds like what Buddha did, right? Spiritual asceticism can take many different forms, from celibacy, fasting, and self-flagellation. What does that mean? Flagellation. Okay, so torturing yourself, right? It's a sort of torturement. Hindu, Buddhism, Jainism. What is all this today? Jainism. As a means of purifying the soul and achieving greater spiritual awareness, it may also be practiced as a way of detaching oneself from the distractions. Jainism is an ancient Indian religion that emphasizes non-violence, self-control, and the renunciation of worldly pleasures and possessions. It's one of the oldest religions in the world, with a history that dates back more than 2 millennia. 2 millennia. Ain't that 2,000 years? Is that the oldest? 2,000 years? I thought Christendom, the Christianity was 2 millennia old. Or at least Judaism. The central teaching of Jainism is ahimsa, or non-violence. Jains believe that all living beings have a soul and that every soul is equal in value and dignity. Therefore, they practice extreme compassion towards all living beings, including animals and plants, and strive to avoid harming any form of life. How is it possible? What do you eat then? What do you eat if you have compassion with plants? Jainism also emphasizes the concept of karma, the idea that every action has consequences, both in this life and in future lives. Therefore, Jains try to live a life of moral and ethical purity, with the aim of accumulating good karma and eventually achieving liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Oh, here. Jains are known for their strict adherence to vegetarianism, as they believe that act of killing or harming animals is a form of violence that creates negative karma. Oh. They also practice asceticism and self-discipline, often through fasting and other forms. I don't get it. Why do they draw the line with animals but not with plants then? If plants are also having a living soul, equal in value and dignity, is that not kinda hypocritical? I don't know. Why would they make a distinction there? 6th century before Christus. So 2600 years ago. Okay. So Jainism is basically where Hindu and Buddhism came from. It's the predating religion to Hindu and Buddhism. Didn't know that. So if ascetism, which is like renunciation of everything you own and just valuing the spirituality above anything else, how you live and how we act in the world are most important to that. So we should not be connected or dependent on material possessions, I guess. And then with Advaita Vedanta, which is then a school of Hindu. So it's one of 6 schools that came out of Jainism. I don't know. So I guess we can write this down for to be quick. So with Jainism, which is from -600 years before Christ, this went into Buddhism, and into Hinduism, and then this one has six traditions, 6 schools, and one of them is that Advaita Vedanta, yeah. But I don't know what the differences are. It's probably for another time, but anyway, no. And this also encompasses asceticism. Okay, and this is an renunciation. So I did not expect to get here with this episode, but kind of liking the path I'm taking, just going down the rabbit hole for an episode. I should do this more often. So we have these. What are the other classical schools? How did they call it? Classical schools besides Advaita. Advaita, 5 other Indian, which are the Astika Orthodox schools. So these are called Astika, and there's Orthodox. Okay, so we have these others. Let's see what it is. So we have Samkhya. This school is based on the Samkhya Sutras and teaches the universe is made up of 2 internal and distinct realities: Purusha, consciousness, and Prakriti, matter. The goal of Samkhya philosophy is to attain liberation by realizing the difference between Purusha, and Praktriki. This is kind of interesting. I want a summary of that one. We also have yoga. I did not know yoga is one of the 6 schools of Hindu, but apparently. The school is based on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali and teaches a system of physical, mental, and spiritual practices aimed at achieving liberation through the control of the mind and the senses. The 8 limbs of yoga include ethical principles, physical postures, breathing techniques, and meditation. Then another one is Jnana. The school is based on the Jnana Sutras and teaches a system of logic and epistemology. What does that mean? Epistemology. Yeah. Kenny's theory. Okay, doesn't give me much more information. Its goal is to achieve right knowledge through logical reasoning and analysis. Okay. Must say, these 2 kinda interest me already. This one and this one. And then we have Vaisheshika. Vaisheshika. And teaches a system of metaphysics and atomism. It holds that the universe is made up of 9 basic substances, including atoms, time, space, and consciousness. Okay, it's not that. Just sounds like science with extra steps, but whatever. Mimasa is the last one. Mimamsa. Teaches a system of ritualism and interpretation of the Vedas. Its goal is to achieve liberation through the performance of Vedic rituals and the understanding of the... This sounds like a cult. What was Vedas again? Vedas are a collection of ancient sacred texts in Hinduism. They are considered to be the oldest and most authoritative scriptures in Hinduism and were composed in Sanskrit between 1500 BC and 500 BC. There are 4 main Vedas: the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and the Atharva Veda. Okay. The Vedas are considered to be aparuseya, meaning not of human agency, so they're from aliens or what, and are believed to have been revealed to ancient sages or rishis through divine inspiration. They have been passed down through an oral tradition for thousands of years and were eventually written down in the form of manuscripts. Okay, so it just sounds like religion to me. But I do like it. I want some more explanation. Give me a summary with the most important teachings from what was it? Samkhya, and which one did I also like? Jnana. I just like to say Jnana. Jnana. Alright, here we go. Samkhya. The universe is made up of 2 eternal and distinct realities. I told it before. The ultimate goal of Samkhya philosophy is to attain liberation. Samkhya teaches that there are 25 tattvas or principles, which include the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. The 5 sense organs: ears, skins, tongues, eyes, and nose. And the 5 organs of action: hands, feet, mouth, genitals, and anus. Okay. And the mind and intellect. So these are 5, 5, 5, 15, and then we have mind and intellect. So is that not only 17? Samkhya teaches that the world is characterized by suffering, and that this suffering arises from ignorance of the true nature of reality. The importance of self-discipline. Okay. Nyanya. Nyanya teaches that there are 4 sources of knowledge. Perception, so your interpretation of what's happening. Inference. Inference is like, you know, two things to be true, so you use those 2 truths to make a third truth that lies in between those 3, I think. Let's see if I'm right. Oh. The act or process of deriving logical conclusions. Yeah, okay, so you know, for example, you know 2 points on the graph, then you can tell where the third point is in between. You know the axis they are along, and then you know this point, and then you know this will also be a point. Where were we? Inference, comparison, so just comparing one to another, and testimony. This means experience, I guess. So perception is your own experience, and testimony is experience from others, I would say. Nyanya holds that there are 16 padarthas, or categories of existence, including substance, quality, action, genus, species, and relation. Nyanya emphasizes the importance of argumentation and debate as a means of arriving at the truth. Liberation can be achieved through knowledge of the self and ultimate reality. Okay. I want to see these principles. Okay, but I'm getting too distracted, but 25, can I find it like this? Maybe 25 that was. Looks like old books. What is this one? Damn. This looks like Latin or something. I definitely cannot read that. Okay. Pretty interesting. It's an old book on there. Anyway, we're going further with ChatGPT. I guess we're doing another review on ChatGPT today. So, give me the 25 that was of Samkhya. Purusha, consciousness, these guys are on another level. I thought Christianity was complex, but what the hell is this all about? What? Okay. Purusha, consciousness, the internal self or soul. Prakriti, matter, the material world, nature. Okay. Okay, I'm not, this is too in depth. Okay, let's get back to the main topic. So, what way should we live our life? Aha, who is this guy? This looks like a familiar one. Oh no. Aha. Damn, this is crazy how much free stuff you can look at. Okay, never mind. I don't know. Programmers and data scientist. No, thank you. Why is it here? God is not somewhere, he is here and now. It is you who is not. That is the only problem. It is not difficult, but definitely it's not easy. It is not difficult, but definitely it's not easy. And then the next sentence is, it is extremely simple. Moving from here, from wherever you are right now, to the infinite is very simple. Because it is right here. Do know, simple need not necessarily be easy, okay? It is just subtle and delicate. Unless you put your whole life energy into it, it will not open up. I want to know what his definition of simple is. Like, putting your whole life energy into it doesn't sound too simple to me. With half-hearted appeals, God never comes. With half-hearted appeals, realization never happens. It has to be everything. Only then it can happen in one moment. It need not take 12 years. Probably a fool takes 12 years to become intense enough. That is different. If you make yourself intense enough, it is just one moment. After that, life is just blessed. What? What kind of shit was this guy smoking? Who is this guy? Sadhguru. Flowers on the path. Does sound interesting title, but... The rat race winner. Whoa. You want to race with everybody because you want to be one up on everybody, especially your neighbor, but you do not want to face the difficulties that arise due to this competition. If you leave out compassion, what is left? You can only be an animal. Society is in the state right now. If you survey the challenges of today's world, one can easily come to a dismaying conclusion. There is great competition. Those who want to compete can compete. If you don't need a race, why don't you come out? Or at least, why can't you slow down the pace? No, you want to race with everybody because you want to be one up on everybody, especially your neighbor. But you do not want to face the difficulties that arise due to this competition. You should understand this very clearly. Whatever action you perform in your life, there is a consequence to it. There's no such thing as you must perform only this type of action and you must not perform another type of action. You can do anything, but you must be in a state to accept the consequences joyously. Actually, very true. After performing the action, crying when you have to face the consequences, boeien. If you don't have the energy to accept the consequence, You don't have to perform that action. It is not needed. Just because somebody else is doing something, you don't have to attempt it or do it. You do not know the kind of energy they have. So the society has not only become competitive, you are caught in the rat race. Yeah. You can compete to the extent you want to, but if you don't have the need for competition, then come, we will teach you meditation. Okay, that was enough for me. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm gonna try to do more like book preparation for the real podcast. Like I can actually get some quotes from books that I can use and think about. Like, what do you think about this guy saying you should meditate instead of being in the rat race? Is that something we can live by? I don't think meditation is gonna cut it. For me, at least. Okay, so where are we? I am just all over the place today, but honestly, I couldn't be bothered, or I couldn't care less. Like, just doing my thing. I want this Shodcast to be more spontaneous, less organized, just whatever I feel like doing in that moment. Something I enjoy. So, the quest for the right way continues in Western countries. Let's see what it have. Muslims. I'd like to know what they think. The future of Islam. What do they have to say, the Muslims? Damn, what kind of book is this? A history of... What? Who writes these things? Yeah, I'm not reading that. Okay. Muslims in the 21st century stand at a major crossroads as they face a world of multiple modernities, from North Africa to Southeast Asia, from North America to Europe. Like believers of other faiths, Muslims struggle with how to live out and apply their faith in a rapidly changing world. Many others see Islam as integral to all aspects of their lives, but differ significantly about how to interpret and reinterpret their faith and history. Reform-minded Muslims, what does that mean? Religious and lay men and women are working to articulate a progressive, constructive Islamic framework, informed by a deep knowledge of their religious tradition and... Okay. I like this book, but I need a good chapter. Where are the Muslim reformers? Okay, let's see this. Conclusion. Intentionally left blank. Not like this, huh? We are not doing this today. Wait, but 150. Oh, this was actually a conclusion. Okay. Informed by a deep knowledge of their religious tradition and modern educations in law, blah blah blah, they are equipped to reinterpret Islamic sources and traditions to meet the challenges of modernization and development, leadership and ideology, democratization, pluralism, and foreign policy. What does pluralism? Mean with pluralism? In Islam, pluralism refers to the recognition and acceptance of diversity in human societies, cultures, and religions. It is based on the belief that God created different people with different beliefs, languages, and cultures, and that this diversity should be respected and celebrated. Islamic pluralism upholds the idea that all people are equal in the eyes of God. Okay. At the same time, it also recognized the importance of maintaining social harmony and peace in diverse societies. It encourages people to respect each other's beliefs and values, to engage in dialogue and cooperation, and to work together for the common good. Okay, I like this. It's rooted in the Quran, which teaches that God has created diversity in the world as a sign of His power and wisdom. The Quran states that we have created you from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Interesting. That they don't think that they're like the chosen people, or like Jews, I would say. They have some kind of air about it. Overall, it emphasizes the importance of tolerance, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence among people of different cultures and religions. Interesting. Did not know that Islam was this all-inclusive. Okay, let's move on. However, reformers are still a minority facing formidable obstacles. Repressive authoritarian regimes see all reform, any real power sharing and rule of law as threatening to their power and privilege. Religious extremists believe they have a mandate from God to impose their Islam and destroy anyone who disagrees with them. Intransigent. What are all these words? I think it's very clear that I never read. Intransigent. Onverzettelijk. What the hell? Okay. Onverzettelijk. So, unchangeable religious conservatives well-meaning but wedded to medieval paradigms are often co-opted by governments and use their authority to delegitimate reforms as a heresy. Fundamental problem for development and long-term stability in the Arab and Muslim worlds is not the religion of Islam or Islamic movements, but the struggle between authoritarianism and pluralism. Hence, the primary focus of American attention should be not religion, but rather political, social, and economic change where Muslims live. Foreign policies have been unduly influenced by the vested interests of secular and religious dictators and extremist groups. Okay. The threat to the West will not come from civilizational differences, but from the political and socio-economic reality that breeds radicalism. The threat to the West will not come from civilizational differences, but from the political and socio-economic reality that breeds radicalism. Interesting. Maybe I should write these kind of quotes down. I don't know. This sounds like a good one. Let's get it somewhere safe. Don't know why I'm saying that. Okay, let's get this quote going. Quote book. And then we type The threat to the West will not come from civilizational differences, but from the political and socio-economic reality that breeds radicalism. Okay, I can still type blind, so interesting. Majorities of Muslims globally clearly do not see conflict with the West as primarily religious or civilizational. Rather, they distinguish Western powers by their policies. We, in turn, need to dismiss fears of civilizational threats and disaggregate the Muslim world into distinct countries whose conflicts originate from the specific policies of each nation. Okay, that's kinda no-brainer. The Muslim world is not only arena for change. One of the great ironies of history is that despite our apparent development and sophistication, too often we are bound by our own cognitive and religious ghettos. As the examples of the former Yugoslavia, Northern Ireland, India, Palestine, Israel, America and Europe demonstrate, just because faiths exist in the same country or area, it does not mean that believers come to know much about the other's faith or respect each other. The mettle of our own democratic values and pluralism is being severely tested by globalization and immigration in an increasingly multicultural and multireligious West. Okay. However, freedoms. Did not know we had multiple freedoms. It's like America. We'll take all the freedoms. Freedoms do not exist in a vacuum. They do not function without limits. They do not function without limits. So, yeah, I guess that's true for everything. An animal is also limited in what it can do. A horse can't fly. Okay. That's something I haven't thought about. Let me repeat that. Freedoms do not exist in a vacuum. They do not function without limits. In many countries, hate speech is a criminal offense prohibited under incitement to hatred legislation. Our Western secular democracies. What does that mean, secular? Seculier, temporal. So it's like a temporary. Oh no, it's something set in stone, something very old. Okay. Our Western secular democracies represent not only freedom of expression, but also freedom of religion. Belief as well as unbelief needs to be protected. Freedom of religion in a pluralistic society ought to mean that some things are sacred and treated as such. The Islamophobia that is becoming a social cancer should be as unacceptable as anti-Semitism, a threat to the very fabric of a democratic pluralistic way of life. Thus, it is imperative for political and religious leaders, commentators and experts, and yes, the media, to lead in building and safeguarding our cherished values. Okay. Sounds all very obvious to me. Maybe I have to write down this book, just because I got the quote from it. Means it did something to me, right? So the future of Islam, John L. Esposito. Na 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 na. Xing Xiang. Wait, this is about Uyghur. What is happening to Uyghurs? Let's see if ChatGPT is monitored by Chinese governments. The Uyghurs are an ethnic minority group in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region of China. In recent years, there have been reports of serious human rights violations and abuses being committed against Uyghurs and other ethnic and religious minorities in the region. Chinese government has been carrying out a campaign of repression against Uyghurs, including detention and imprisonment of hundreds of thousands of Muslims in internment camps, often referred to as re-education camps. There are reports of forced labor, torture, and other forms of mistreatment in these camps. Okay, it's not Chinese governed. China has denied allegations of human rights abuses in the region and has described the camps as vocational training centers aimed at combating extremism and terrorism. Okay, I think ChatGPT plus talk to books can give me some really interesting rabbit holes to go down. I don't have to read all the books. I can just take snippets. For example, let's just read this one to end off the podcast. There never was a West. What? Which book is this one? Possibilities. Damn. This book I should read. Gedrukt boek aanschaffen. How much? It's not for sale. What? How are the possibilities then? Oh no, not like this. The page I wanted to read. Why is this readable but that page not? Maybe there was some hidden possibilities. Okay, I think I went too far with this already. Let's just wrap it up. So talk to books. I think we can also do. How do you meet your significant other? So it's basically Google, but it looks through books and for you. Filter books by category. Okay, thought this was gonna be like, then I can speak and then it would search what I speak. But anyway, I think this can give a clear indication of what it's capable of, what the opportunities are for talk to books. I'm sorry if you did not like the episode. I'm just doing something for myself today. And in the future, I think these shortcasts are just gonna be just rambling, just go down the rabbit hole and you don't know where you end up. Because today we learned about Advaita Vedanta, Vedanta. And we know, nobody of us knew before we realized this, before we came here. The non-dualism, I don't like that word. Maybe I really should learn this, or read it at least. The swan is an important motif in Advaita, and the swan symbolizes the ability to discern satya, real, eternal, from mithya, and the real changing, just like the mythical swan, Paramahamsa. What is Paramahamsa? It's just an enlightenment supreme swan. It's the supreme swan. No, okay. Let's end it up for here today. Anyways, thank you for joining. Look at this pimple, it's almost gone. Woo!